Hey guys, welcome back to Bows Fan TV, and today we're doing the match reaction to last night's 2-0 defeat against Dundalk in Oriel Park. To say that was a shit show is probably putting it lightly. It was just one of those games where he didn't turn up. The performance was just unacceptable, really. I don't do these. I don't normally do these type of videos where I come on and not rant. I suppose I'm not going to come on here and start you know you know, doing all that. But yeah, I just felt like I needed to do this kind of video because I still can't believe that performance last night was just so bad. The way the players performed in such a big game, in the game where we needed to get Europe, you know, not obviously not everything was hanging on this game, but in the game where we needed to get the win for Europe to try and push us up, I suppose, and ahead of Shales and Dundalk, and but everything just worked against us on the night. Going into the game, we knew that 3 points would probably put us in a good position. Heading into the last game of the season, in a home game against Cork, where you're at home and you're expected to win. Shels, even if they hadn't beat UCD last night, which obviously they did, it wouldn't have really mattered. All we would have had to have done is it would have won was to win to win the last game of the season at home to Cork. And I think that result last night, and Dundalk winning against us obviously, and Shels winning, probably ruled us out of Europe through the league now. I can't see where any instance where Dundalk go up to UCD next week and Lewis and Shels go to draw and Lewis. I just can't see it happening. Um, so that probably just rules us out of Europe through the league, and to go from this to where we started to how we started the season is just unacceptable. I think. Um, First few games of the season, I think at one stage we were 10 points clear. Look, I know it was only back in April, very early days, but to have fallen this far now, I think it's just a disgrace, really. You know, I don't know what to say, to be honest. It's just, you know, I suppose more on the game. First half was a bit of a nothing. First half, nothing really happened. There was a bit of there was a bit of action, I suppose, but it was a bit even end to end. But we didn't really do a whole lot, really. Second half was just so poor. We didn't get a full hold of the game. The dog had a lot of the ball. They obviously got their two goals. Then Paul Doyle gets a goal in the 78th minute, and then Kelly wraps it up in the 92nd minute. And yeah, look, obviously what happened after that then when the players came over and they sort of just stood there for a couple of minutes and just took the abuse, and I think I thought it was necessary. I think the players need to be told that it just wasn't good enough the way they performed. In such an important game to have played like that. It's just you can expect the fans to be pissed off, and they were, and rightly so. And yeah, look, hopefully that gives them a bit of a kick up the arse to think, right, we know November 12th to get in this cup final, because we can sort of just forget about the core game, in my opinion. November 12th, cup final, we need to show up, we need to put in the performance of our lives, because that's our last chance to get into Europe. If we lose that, then obviously we're probably gonna finish fifth or sixth, probably sixth, because I can see Shales and Dundalk winning their last games, and if we're to finish sixth and lose the cup final, then you're going to have a much angrier fan base than last night. Um, and yeah, look, I suppose we'll just touch on a few things that I think I thought about after the game. It just doesn't seem like the players care enough. Some of them anyway. I think Dylan Condy, to be fair to him, he looks like he's trying. The way he came over to the fans at the end, you could tell that he was disappointed. And look, to be fair, he has been working very hard. But you look at some of the other players out there, the defence, it's just not good enough. We knew that already. It's just not good enough. Paddy Kirk, I don't think he's been very good since he's come back. Casper and Novak, you just feel like there's a mistake in them somewhere. You're just waiting for that moment to come. I think Bart's decent. I know. Look, he's only new. He's only been at the club a few months now. I think he is a decent player. I don't think we can put a load of blame on him. I think since he's come in, he's looked okay. But it's just, how have we gone from you know being in, even at the start of the season when we were playing very well, you thought, okay, look, we probably won't win the league. It's probably just the start, but it would, at least we'll get Europe. That's what I think we were all feeling, but that's looking very unlikely now. Look, I know there's a cup final to come, but is anyone really confident that we're going to win that game with the way we're playing at the moment? I'm not personally. I don't know. People probably have a different opinion, but that's just how I feel right now. I just don't see us winning that cup final. But if we don't improve the way we've been playing lately, look, I know it's two defeats on the spin. It's not the end of the world, but look, the way we performed the last couple of games, it just felt like I needed to come on and do a video and just talk about it because you know it just doesn't seem to be enough desire in the team. And I don't think they're they're wholly to blame for. I think the manager, has to take a bit of the blame as well. Look, I really like Devine. I've said it on this channel a few, numerous times. I do like him. I think he's a good manager, but I doubt as to whether he has much of a plan B, to be honest. I've seen in certain games this season when it hasn't worked for us, there's not been much change being implemented mid-game. You know, it has probably cost us a lot of points. And look, ultimately, look, if we don't get into Europe, a lot of the blame is going to land on the Vine Store, and that's fair enough, I suppose. But you've got to look at the players as well. I just don't think their performances have been good enough over these last few games. You know, we saw this last season as well. I know, look, I think the good start has probably saved us a little bit from that. But last season, you just saw a lot of very poor, cowardly performances, and I think you're starting to see. You've seen a few of them are throughout this season as well. Even though I think a good start probably papered over the cracks a little bit, as well as a cup run. If we hadn't a bit, if we weren't in a cup final, I think there'd be a much more uproar, obviously. And look, I think would some probably argue that maybe that little honeymoon period we had under Keith Long is over now, from that little period in like 2019, 2020. Is it all over now? Are we just going to be going back to what we were before then, which is just mid-table most seasons, not really doing anything? Look, I know there's much more money in the club now, and there's a much bigger budget, but you know, is it really going to get any better than what we had under Long? Probably not. It's probably going to get worse, or probably just stay the same. Because I think I've said this to a few people last night. I don't think much has really changed since Keith Long is gone. It still feels like a very similar, spine of players. Very similar, inconsistent performances, similar results, similar style of play. Not much of a plan B. We just sort of play 4-2-3-1, and if it doesn't work for us, then we're probably just going to get rolled over. Um, yeah, look, I don't really know where to go from here. Look, the court game's a dead rubber, like I said. Um, the cup final, obviously, it's our last chance, really. If we lose that, and yeah, obviously, we're not going to be in Europe, which would be a disaster considering how good we started the season and how for a large part of the season we were in the top four and now we've dropped to sixth. You've just got to question a lot of things really. You've got to question the manager, the players, more on Devine, I suppose. I think he obviously has to take a bit of the blame, like I said, but you think you've got to look at Pat Phelan as well. Look, he's the director of football. What does he do? I think that's a big question that a lot of people are asking right now. Now, what is it that he's doing? Obviously, I'd imagine he had some sort of link to try to get some of the Polish lads in. But what is he doing really? Let's be honest. We're sort of just giving him a free lunch, aren't we? He's sort of just there collecting the wage when him and Devine, I don't think the recruitment's been very good, to be honest with you. We look at the players that we brought in during the off season. Dylan Conley Dylan Conley, will always had his moments of where he's not looked great, but bar him, have any of them really come in and made much of an impact? I'd argue not. Casper and Novak, yeah, look, they've had good moments, they've had good performances, they've had little periods throughout the season where they've looked good, but like I said at the start, you can just sense that there's a mistake in them. Akintunde, we haven't seen enough of really, and even when he's played, I think he has looked a bit off it. I know he had an injury there that kept him out for a few weeks, but I think when he's played, he probably hasn't made much of an impact. Dane Williams as well. Yeah, look, he's had an injury, but we'll probably leave him out. Um, there's others as well that we brought in on loan that aren't here anymore. Like Bain and Baker and all. Obviously they're gone, but yeah, I just don't know where to go from here. Like I said, look, yeah, the performance yesterday was just was awful. I never want to see something like that ever again. Really, yeah, obviously there's been a lot of talk on Twitter about what's going to happen with the Vine if we don't get Europe and lose the cup final. Should he stay or go? I don't know, to be honest with you. I really like him. Like I said, I think he's a good man. I think he says the right things. It's just whether does he have the tactical nails, I suppose, to take us to the next level. I think that's probably the big question at the moment. You know, if we were to lose a cup final and not get Europe, of course, questions will be asked, and could the club make a change? I don't know. I personally don't think that they would. I think they'll probably just look at it like, oh well, we were unlucky, even though we weren't really. We just bottled it towards the end of the season. You can already see what's coming. We'll probably beat Cork, but other results won't go our way, and we'll probably end up finishing fifth or sixth, which obviously isn't good to us at all unless we win the cup. Which, like I said, the way we're playing at the moment, are we going to do that? I don't know. Um, but yeah, questions will of course be asked in the Vine if that happens, and if we lose the cup final and not get Europe. But look, we just got to move on now. It's sad, of course. The season started with so much promise. Top of the league after however many games, however many points clear. Look, we all knew it wasn't going to last because we knew that Rovers and Derry and Pats would probably improve. Because I know they didn't have amazing starts to the season, but you would have at least thought we'd have finished in Europe, based off the squad that we've got, based off the budget that's there, based off the facilities going full time. You would have thought that we would have kicked on, and we haven't really done that, to be honest with you. And yeah, look, it was a disappointing night, bad performance. But look, let's just hope these players prove us wrong. Let's just hope that on November 12th they go out there and fight for us. They fight for the badge, they fight for themselves, they fight for the club, they fight for their futures. I think that's one another thing as well. There's not enough players that are fighting for their futures here. They're on 2 3 year deals, probably some of them, and why would they bother going out there and fighting for us when they're on a cushy contract and they're probably going to be here next year and a good wage. Back in the days under Keith Long, you had players fighting for contracts. And you just don't see that anymore. But look, cup final November 12th, prove us wrong, just do something. And look, yeah, that's where I'm going to end it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Comment down below what you thought about last night's game, and look, I'll see you this week for the preview for the Cork game. Bye bye.